Okay, Kev, we're going to work on your bike. What is it?
It's a 2008 Harley-Davidson fat,
Nope.
fatty, fat girl. 2008 Harley-Davidson Softail Deluxe 105 Anniversary Edition.
Why is that important?
Well, the 105th Anniversary Edition does have some parts we've found that are not stock on other bikes of the same year and same model. So that does make a difference when you're ordering parts. Unfortunately, you won't know until you actually order the parts which ones aren't stock. So that's just a learn as you go kind of thing, same way as we have. All right, so I got myself a 10 mil wrench here. Just got another one here for a little bit of leverage, because these are on pretty tight.
Now, this bike doesn't have ABS, right?
That is correct.
If it did have ABS, there would
You'd
actually...
see a wire down here, and there'd be, the sensor would go right here.
Show that again?
There'd be a wire that goes down here.
Yeah.
And the sensor would be right in here.
Okay. But essentially still the same function. And this is just to loosen the caliper, right?
Yeah, you just got to get rid of the caliper, get it out of the way. It just makes it so much easier to get the tire off. So we got a breaker bar here and a 15/16 socket. So I'm just going to break this nut. On the other side over here, I'll show you in a second. You've got a couple Allen keys here, so these are going to squeeze and hold on to the shaft. So don't loosen these until you loosen that nut. So just loosen these a few turns. You can take them right off if you want to.
And what size Allen are you using there?
This is a 5 mil, I believe. Yeah. That's the thing about these bikes is there's metric and imperial.
The only bike with more hardware is the 66 Triumph we're working on that has not only has metric and imperial, but it also has that English style, which is totally different.
The screwdriver?
Yeah.
Just stick that right here.
Right. So that keeps the axle from spinning and then allows you to take that nut off, right?
Roger that. So once we pound this out, we've got two spacers. We've got one on this side, right here. There's one over here in behind here. So this is just a beauty cap, which will come off. I said just so this doesn't drop down when we pound this axle out, you can get a couple of pieces of wood just as a shim for yourself. Hey, there goes that beauty piece I was talking about. All right. So we got the spacer on this side. All right. Looks like we might have to go a little higher with the jack.
Now, here's a close-up of that tire. and why it needed to be changed.
Yeah.
She's almost bald, but we're going to show you actually how to measure your tire in just a second.
All right, so this is a good opportunity for you to check your bearings. You just want to give them a spin, see if you can hear or feel any grittiness. Make sure they're still rotating well.
And that's on both sides, right?
Sure is.
If they weren't good, like you said, you'd feel...
Yeah, you'd feel there'd be potential, there'd be movement back and forth here. There'd be grittiness. They wouldn't be spinning nicely. So, and really for the price of the bearings and getting them in and out, it's definitely worth the effort. It beats breaking down on the road because the bearing's blown out.
Exactly. All right, let's show you how to measure your actual tire depth, and we're going to switch to the rear tire to do that. So just hang on, guys. Okay, so I got this tool from Harley-Davidson. We'll put the part number on the screen right now. Great little tool, allows you to check the air pressure, but also allows you here, you can see, to check the depth, right? So we use this, we put it into the tread of the tire, we push, and we see if we have a tire that is got appropriate amounts of tread left or one that needs to be replaced, right? The spec that I looked up, tread depth below 230 seconds or 0.0625 inches should be changed. And brand new, you'll probably see it around 430 seconds or deeper than that. So anyway, let's check the rear tire on Kevin's Softail Deluxe to see what we're at. This is a relatively new tire, so we should have pretty good depth, but we'll check it. I'll show you how to do that. So if you can see on there, you can actually see the increments in inches, and that will allow you to check. Anything in red basically needs to be changed. Anything in blue, you're good to go. So let's take a look at this tire. So I'm going to try to measure in roughly the center of the tire here, because if you measure out here, you're always going to have more depth there. So what you're really wanting to go is kind of center the tire. So I take the tool, put it in there, and then I push until the metal prongs touch. And this one, as you can see, we're well above the 232nd, so we're in good shape for this tire. This is a safe tire that has a few thousand more miles.
All right, so we have a nice brand new tire installed on here. Now, I hope you're not disappointed that you didn't get to see us struggle with spoons and much sweating and preferably not swearing, but...
It does happen.
Yeah. So, you know what? I would definitely recommend saving yourself the hassle if you don't have a tire installation tool, just to spend $100 and go and get it done at a shop. It'll save you a lot of misery. Yeah.
Now that being said, look for an upcoming video of us reviewing the Rabaconda tire changer for street bikes, because we are going to buy one of those, and we are going to test it out ourselves because we do a lot of tires, and we're not going to do it by hand anymore. Right?
No, we're not. So this is a job that you can do by yourself.
It is easier with an extra pair of hands.
It is easier with an extra pair of hands. So I had to have the bike lifted up quite high in order to get this tire out. That saves me from having to take the fender off. If you're not able to get your bike up really high in the front end, you will have to take the fender off in order to get your tire out. But
guys, like, honestly, just go and invest. I mean, we've got a bike lift here, but you can do it on the ground.
Right.
But invest in one of these jacks, because they are not expensive.
And you can get them on Amazon, and they are fantastic. So I'm just going to lower the bike down a little bit, make this a little easier.
Now that the tire's in, right?
Yeah.
You going to put those wood blocks back underneath of it?
Nope.
No? Okay, so that's more for just taking the tire out.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Right, because now you can lower the bike into position.
Pretty much.
All right.
All right, so don't forget, if you've got any additional parts like this beauty piece, this is the time to put it back.
So you're just sliding that axle through.
I'm trying to. There we go. Okay. So I got the axle started. Okay. So on this side, we've got a spacer that we have to reinstall before you put the shaft back through. Make sure that's on there. Okay, there we go. All right. We got that back. All right. So we got that back tight. Okay, so one thing you want to do here is I'm going to grab this trusty screwdriver again, and before I tighten up these cinch bolts over here, right here, I'm going to tighten up the main nut so that it's all the way on in the right position. I am not going to torque it, however, at this moment.
Yeah, that's why he's just using the breaker bar that we use to take it off, because we'll do a torque wrench later. Everything to spec, guys. Everything to spec.
All right, so what's the torque spec on the front axle?
All right, so the torque
I think
spec.
it's 70 or 100, one or the other.
Let's find out, because we wrote it on the wall. Front axle, 70 to 75 foot-pounds.
I always go in the middle.
So what are you going with, Kev?
I'll go with 70. What is it, 70 to 75?
Yeah, go with 72.
Sure. All right. You're all set. This shouldn't take much. Ta-da. All right. So now that this is torqued, now we can do these cinch bolts on this side.
How do you feel about torque specs on cinch bolts?
How do I feel? Well, the first thing I feel is that I should probably use a metric, which again is a conundrum or something interesting about these bikes, that sometimes you run into having to use metric tools.
And what size is that?
This is a 5, I think. Yeah.
5 mil. Okay.
So you kind of want to tighten this side to side. You don't want to tighten.
Just crank one down.
Just crank one side down. This is a cinch bolt, so you want to have equal pressure on each side.
Look at that nice clean white wall.
Cleanest thing on the bike at the moment. The reason the bike's dirty is we had a little bit of a mechanical issue with one of the lifters, and so we just brought her home and put her up. So normally my fat bottom girl, I like her clean. She responds really well. You know, nobody likes to have a dirty girl. Well,
I think in the comment section of this video, there is going to be quite a discussion about that comment you just made.
all right. So as far as torque specs on this, I'm sure there is one. I just do one Ooga Booga.
One Ooga Ooga, yeah. If you don't know what an Ooga Ooga is, well,
You
just
should figure out your own Oogas.
yeah, hang out here at Wrench and Ride Customs, and you will hear about one Ooga Ooga, two Ooga Oogas, and the rare and very rarely seen three Ooga Oogas.
Right. All right. So now, as you guys recall, we need to reinstall our brake caliper.
And this particular bike is a single front disc.
Yeah.
On the touring bikes, you'll see double or dual front discs, so then you're going to have two calipers, but it's the same process.
So one thing I would like to say is I do believe with the weight of the bike, Harley-Davidson kind of cheaped out on not putting a dual front disc brake on the Softail. But that's just my own personal opinion. I feel that the braking power is a little bit light.
Yeah.
And
especially for you, because you don't use the rear brake at all, ever.
Yeah, I'm not a rear braker.
I'm a rear braker. He's not a rear braker.
Anyway, so after I had done some work to my bike, Jamie and I swapped bikes just so he could feel, you know, the power. So I rode his bike and I grabbed a handful of front brake and almost went over the front end because I wasn't used to having a bike with such nice front end braking power, and he's got the Road King Classic with the dual front brakes. So
yeah, and brand new brakes I had done front and back. So all right, so clip that zap strap. Support the caliper so it's not dangling and banging into your fender, and do a little visual inspection. Now's the time to check the pads.
Still got a lot of meat there.
Yeah, there's actually a spec, and when we do brakes, we'll review that spec with you. Slide it back on the rotor. Up into position. Line up those holes with the tabs on your glider.
Right. I don't know whether you guys know this or not, but Harley-Davidsons are prone to vibration.
And therefore
we Loctite everything.
So you should buy 2 or 3 bottles.
Again, we are not sponsored by Loctite.
But if you, you know, if you don't want to do all this work on a bike, go buy a Honda. All right, because Hondas are great.
Or any metric bike.
Yeah, ride them, change the brakes, change the oil. That's all you'll ever have to do.
Yep, nothing wrong.
But if you want a Harley and you want to have a lot of fun wrenching on a bike, man, this is the bike for you because you're going to be wrenching on it. And that's not a knock to Harley, because honestly, it suits us just fine. We love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good quality time spent in the shop working on our bikes, getting to real nice close relationship. There's nothing more satisfying than working on your bike and then taking it out and having a nice smooth ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, today we won't even be able to show you a ride after all this work because we still got to diagnose the lifter issue and change the lifter. Stay tuned to another video from Wrench and Ride Customs.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're going to tighten up those caliper bolts. What are you using?
Well, metric. 10 mil. Yeah. So again, you know, Harley-Davidson sources a lot of parts from overseas, gets their parts made overseas. So you are going to run into, again, where you're going to need both metric and imperial tools. Now, these here bolts are 12 point, right? So a 6 point wrench or socket is going to be prone to slippage, and it's also going to be prone to damaging these. So definitely recommend having the proper tool for the right job. Having a 12 point, that's going to save you a bunch of hassle. Now again, I'm sure there's torque specs, but what I like to do is just use a little bit of leverage. I'll use another wrench like this. Give that a good pull. Nothing too serious.
So as mentioned before, there's certain things that we absolutely stick to the torque specs on all the time. And then there's other things we've learned that 1 UGA or 2 UGAs is more than enough to keep you safe on the road. But this is your bike, your ride. You do what you want to do. And if you want to do everything to spec the way it should be done, you should do that 100%.
All right, so like I said earlier, I have an Ultra Cool installed on this bike.
Yeah, let's take a peek at that.
Let's take a look at that here. So it's here. The oil cooling lines go here. Now this is an Ultra Cool, and if you are going to install an oil cooler on your bike, I would definitely recommend. There's many different brands. I picked Ultra Cool, but you definitely want to get a fan assisted, thermostatically regulated cooler. So
we're going to be doing a video on adding a cooler to the Road King, my bike, the Nightbird, and we'll let you know what we think of that style, because that one for the Softail will go in frame
right here.
But for the touring bikes, you either get this really ugly one that bolts to the side of your crash bar, or you get it to go below the rectifier down low, which is the one we're going to choose, and we'll let you know what we think of it.
All right. Okay, so that's that. So